We lose Andre. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, pretty sure Andre's computer crashed. Hello there. How are you today?
My computer didn't crash.
Oh, okay. Well, you're just like quiet. You didn't do the intro.
I do my little intro with like some music, and then I go, "Okay, hi guys."
I see you doing stuff without me.
Oh yeah.
You see this? You see this?
I don't see this. Oh.
Andre, this is my mom. Just fucking love you. Anyway, welcome back, folks.
That's an interesting intro. I don't know if I like it.
It's okay. People are here.
Well, welcome everybody to the stream. I'm Zombie Andre. I'm here with Spartan again for another. I think this is our third. I think this is our third.
I believe
third. Fourth. I need to actually keep these numbered. I'll work on that. But we're here to talk about more Bad Batch with the newest episode, which was called Harbinger. And I'm just going to say it right now, Spartan. You nailed it.
What do you mean?
You guessed it. It was going to be Asajj Ventress. You're like, if Asajj Ventress is going to be in this episode.
Oh, well, okay, that was obvious. Come on. We had it from the trailers. We knew she was going to be here in the trailers. Like,
yes.
We knew she was going to be in the show, which I love that your brother, the other day, he was just like, yeah, I was so surprised to see her. It's like, did you not watch the trailer? No.
Oh, actually, I did not know that.
It was really fun because it's just like, oh yeah, no, she was there.
She's there. She's alive. For now.
I was gonna say I'm more excited about what's to come from this episode.
Yes.
Because I know last week I mentioned, folks, we talked about last week on the show that Harbinger, the title of the episode, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. Harbinger.
With the title like Harbinger, it's someone who's like noting the end or something like that. We talked about it.
We talked about the end.
And I had a theory last week that what would happen is we'd have Wrecker, Hunter, and Ventress in one story, and then we'd have like Batcher, Crosshair, and Omega in the other with the Shadow. And I was speculating that maybe the Shadow would reach Pabu. Okay? Well, after seeing this episode, I don't think I'm actually far off. I really don't.
Yeah.
It might sound like it, but one thing that's just like eating away at me after this entire episode is just the fact that Ventress got here completely undetected.
And Ventress found out how to find him very easily.
Exactly. Fennec didn't, they didn't even tell Fennec where they were. And Ventress still found them. I'd like to think Ventress, being who she is, she's using the Force and she just found them, Like maybe there's something there. But I'd like to also think that this could be like the Empire's way. Maybe like the Empire is tracking the same breadcrumbs as Ventress is. Or maybe they're even tracking Ventress.
That's true. It could be.
Which could be fun. It could also bring Ventress back into the story. Like if she finds out, she'll feel guilty and come back and help the Bad Batch. Which I think would be really useful. So yeah. No, I'm super excited, and we've already talked about it. But next week, or this week, I should say, on Wednesday, we're getting a 2-part release.
Yeah.
So once again, it could be, on Wednesday that we get Pabu gets discovered, Pabu gets destroyed. That could be our 2-parter right there.
Yeah. Everything's lining up like how you predicted it was going to. I'm like, God damn it.
And then we have 4 episodes, 12, 13, 14, and 15, to, be in one last story arc before the end of the show.
Before the Bad Batch is no more.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. at
Oh
least.
man, I was happy with the episode. Like this is finally like what we should have been getting, like last week's. God, I had the week before.
But it was
Uh,
a great filler episode. What are you
no,
talking
we all
about?
need filler. Damn it. They just had it figured out. Like this season started off so well, and that one episode just felt like so much filler. One can argue that the whole gambling episode, or like where they're trying to get off the planet, and then they have to rescue Batcher, Crosshair and Omega.
Gotcha. Yep.
Like one could argue that that's part of it, but I think that's part of the story because this is a huge galaxy, and this is a way for them to kind of get their own earnings. Like we're seeing Hunter and Wrecker do odd jobs to reach Crosshair and Omega. So it's a good parallel to see Omega and Crosshair trying to find them also.
Yes.
So that didn't feel so bad as a filler episode. And in a way, neither did Hunter and Wreckers, because it was kind of mixed in with the actual plot of finding Crosshair and Omega.
It was so cool.
Yeah. But no, we absolutely did not need last week's episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I love Ming Na Wen and Fennec Shan as a character. I just no, get out of here.
Asajj is a harbinger because she's a person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another. So yes, harbinger.
See, I
Forerunner
wonder
of something. Yes.
okay, when you use a definition like that, or they announce the arrival of something,
The doom of the bad of the
well, okay, I want to take it away from the concept, but more like a person, She did warn them, you're not as safe as you think you are.
Yeah. It's something that
So again,
foreshadows a future event.
It's the Empire. Like
The Empire's about to come and slap you.
The Empire's about to destroy Pabu.
Yep, that's what's going to happen in the 2
Oh,
episodes.
Calling it. And
How are they going to do that for 2 episodes?
Huh?
How are they going to make that 2 episodes?
It's a very fair point. But one of it can be more setup. We did have a 2-part invasion in Rebels Season 3.
Yeah.
Where you had Thrawn and his forces above the Rebel base, or at least Phoenix Squadron's base.
Mm-hmm.
Where Episode 1 was the space battle, like in the orbit battle, cruisers versus cruisers and everything, and eventually ending in Sato's demise.
Yeah.
And then Episode 2 was the ground assault, where the Empire, they stopped every ship they could, they destroyed every ship they could, and now they're pushing to the actual base to capture Rebel leadership.
Yes.
So I'd like to think with this, I know Pabu's not going to have some spacefaring, spacefaring force or anything. But I'd like to think that the first episode's going to be more of a setup, what I've talked about with maybe the Shadow finding the location first, and then calling the Empire, and then we just immediately get the Empire invading. Or look at it a different way, maybe in that first episode, the Empire just wins against Pabu. Episode 2 is actually like the epilogue of that event. Like,
Okay.
if someone's going to get captured, someone's going to get captured. If someone's going to get killed, someone's going to get killed. Kind of like what they did with Tech.
It's going to be Omega. Omega's going to get
Tech
captured.
died. Yeah. Tech died in a 2-part release, I'm pretty sure. Where, at the end of the episode, he is on a banister between rail cars. And the beginning of that second episode is when Tech sacrifices himself. It's the beginning of the second episode that I'm really ooh, that's gonna be the important part.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. It's gonna be so exciting.
It should be pretty exciting, to be honest.
And then, Andre, we talked about the book last week a little bit,
Oh.
which folks, for anyone who doesn't know or remember from last week's conversation, we talked about how Asajj Ventress, she is part of the books. There's a book in particular, which I don't remember. I think it's called Dark Disciple, correct?
I'd have to look that up.
I think so. Yeah, go ahead. But
Continue
in
about the
this,
book.
there's this whole story about Asajj being found by Quinlan Voss and her working together for the most part, and that's kind of where she gets a lot of the attitude you see in this episode of Bad Batch. But something we kept forgetting. Oh, okay. Well, we also talked about where at the end of the book, Asajj is dead. Like, again, I'm pretty sure like part of the promo art for this is Quinlan carrying Ventress's corpse.
Yeah, it's the Dark Disciple.
Is it?
Star Wars
Is this?
Disciple. Yeah.
Okay. Well, something I've forgotten from all the different times I've heard about this book, and spoilers for anyone who is looking to read it, Asajj comes back to life by the end of the book. Mind you, she's not with Quinlan anymore, but she does come back to life in that book. So this is what's making me think that this is actually after the whole book, which I believe it's supposed to be anyway, like timeline-wise. And where at the end of the encounter with the Bad Batch, she tells Hunter and them she's got a few more lives left. You know, I think she is plenty aware of the fact that she has been resurrected by this point. Like, I think she's much more familiar with her mortality as a Night Sister.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that the
I'm
thing
just
in the book
saying-
happened, and now this is her after this whole event has happened?
That's what I said, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, no, I think thankfully it does line up. It doesn't line up one for one. It seems like there's probably a few inconsistencies. Like, for one, where's Quinlan? I don't know personally. I have not read the book. I've just seen numerous breakdowns from different channels. But I just know that she is no longer with Quinlan. So whether or not he comes back into the picture for her as a character, who knows? I don't think he'll be back for Bad Batch. As cool as that would be.
That's impossible.
Yeah. Why would it be impossible, Andre?
I don't know. I think.
I don't know. I've never read the book, so I have no idea. All I know is what you told me.
Unfortunately, I have no idea. But I just don't see Quinlan making his way into the series. Mind you, I didn't see Asajj making her way into the series, but she kind of fits for this, you know? Someone who's been down on her luck.
Own path.
She's kind of in her own right there. And plus, where Omega, you know, she's no Jedi, of course. I'd like to think that she is a better mentor at this point than Quinlan would have been. You know?
Yeah.
Quinlan, as far as I can tell, as far as I know, was part of the Jedi Order. You know, more than likely was raised on Jedi principle. Whereas Asajj, clearly she had different teachings, a different origin. And so I'd imagine that if Quinlan had been the one that they encountered, Quinlan probably would have taken Omega and been like, nah, you're going to be a Jedi. You're coming with me.
You're a Jedi.
Versus Ventress, who was like, well, if you want her to be like that, you gotta train her like that. And that's another thing she made a very big implication on, because Crosshair even called her out at the end of the episode that she is lying. I think Omega actually has quite a bit of potential. I just hope we don't see that.
Whoa. Why not?
What?
Why not?
Wait,
You
what?
don't want to have Omega running around being a little Jedi?
No.
No.
For one, like it'd be really fun, but for the most part, we have like what 6 episodes left.
It's okay.
If
They could throw in a filler
if we're gonna-
episode.
Shut. If we are going to include something like that in this whole story,
Yeah.
this needs to go on for at least, I'd think, another 2 seasons, personally. This whole show. Because this is something I would imagine in, like, maybe the beginning or the late, like, the fatty bits, the filler bits of Season 4, where maybe she runs into the Wookiee, Jedi child. And he teaches her how to build a lightsaber, and it'd be really fun to reconnect with that character and all. Like, that'd be fun, right? That'd be something to do. Yeah, we have 6 episodes left. I think the most we will ever see her use the Force is maybe pull a pistol to her hand and shoot Hemlock in the back.
I don't even think she's going to be the one that's going to do that.
Well, neither do I. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the most she is going to do is maybe pull a gun to her hand and fire. I do not see her, like, Jedi jumping or using the Force to stop
Like
something.
Yoda.
Well, yeah. Like, we don't need a perfect Force user female. Sequel trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
So
right. You're right.
That's more, again, I don't want her to stop like an ATST with her palms. I want her to just like still struggle with it, but when she does achieve it, we're like, yes! But it's a little thing. It's gonna struggle. It's gonna be like Luke in the ice cave in the beginning of episode 5. I don't know.
Ice Cave? You're talking about The Empire Strikes Back. Which is fine.
Is it? Yeah, okay, I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
But like seeing him like struggle with that, that's before he got his teachings by Yoda. But it's like, come on, get it. He got it. He's alive. Like that's what I want. I want that suspense. I want that. Just amazing.
Amazing. But the thing is,
Right?
is she doesn't have anyone that could train her and to do that because no offense to Wrecker, Crosshair, or Hunter, and Echo, which Echo's not there. I think he's with Cody again, or not Cody. Yeah, Commander Rex. But she has no one to really train her how to use her Force powers if she wants to become a Jedi. So, and especially now with the Asajj Ventress being like, I'm gone, guys. See you later.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't expect Omega to try and do it. I really don't.
I don't. Well, I think she will, but it's gonna be maybe at the end of the episode. It's gonna be something that just completely she tries because of an event, because something's gonna happen, and it's gonna work. But it's not going to be something that she's going to be able to just be like Rey, that just like, whoa, I can do all this cool stuff, guys.
God, the sequel trilogy.
Yes, but I think she will show a little bit of it. Maybe I would say towards, because this is the last season for the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So I think she will show a little bit of it, but it won't be anything super big or significant that's going to make you go, whoa, Like how Anakin was when Qui-Gon picked him up and put him in the pod racer, and he's like, whoa!
I mean, even then, that wasn't like crazy. That's just like, hey, look at that, a little helpful.
Father figure.
Yeah. Anyway, but I know she doesn't have anyone to train her, and that's part of the reason. But I don't think she's gonna try. Period. For the sake that Ventress did tell her, I don't think you are. What is it? You're not force. Not that you're not force sensitive, or is that the word? I don't know. She used the phrase. She said you're not this, because it doesn't matter whether or not you have midichlorians. It's whether or not you train and know how to use it. You know.
Well, that's what I mean.
Just
like
having a high count doesn't just mean you can.
she would have to train to be able to use it.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I think Ventress telling her that that's the case is actually going to be more of a put down, and like she's not necessarily going to try it, or she's going to be the kind that's like you know, like all of us do in real life, where you know, you're just fucking around, you know, the remote's just a little too far away, and you're like, yeah.
You're reaching, struggling.
No, you're not reaching. You're not reaching. You're like, come on, do it. Just jiggle. You know. You're just hoping for that little, I feel like that's what she'll end up doing until it works. Just that one time, that one moment we need it to, and that's it. You know.
It'll work.
And then she's not gonna do. It's not like she's gonna grab a gun and then like levitate boxes and block bullets and shit. No. She's just gonna like, it's gonna work. Yes, bah, and done. You know, that's it. That's the end of that's how the cookie crumbles.
And then she's like, I've unlocked my true potential.
No. But I don't think we need to have this whole arc for Omega within 6 episodes.
They really don't.
Because they've really teased us throughout the entire series that she could be force sensitive. You know, because that's what people were wondering. What makes her special?
She's got the M count, or the midichlorians.
Well, that's what people were like proposing. You know, what is her genetic mutation? A lot of people thought it's because she's a female. Not quite true, but it kind of is. But like then they nailed it in season 1 with you're just a clone, like you are a purebred clone like Boba. That's what makes you imperfect, or really probably the imperfect comes from being a female perfect clone. You know, like she is mutated in that way.
She is, yeah, that's true. That is true.
But yeah, no, I think, you know, that's just kind of going back on fan theory, where before they knew she was a full-blood clone of Boba, or of Jango, I should say, people thought she had maybe a high M count.
So then
thought she was going to be a Jedi clone.
So is Omega then technically kind of like Boba then?
What do you mean kinda?
Because
I mean,
because Jango had Boba,
exactly like
which was
Boba.
oh yeah, so they are exactly the same. Because I've been rewatching the prequels, and I've been kind of like listening and thinking about a lot of the stuff. So I'm like, oh okay, yeah, everything's kind of connected. So then pretty much she is, and then her sister then, she's the same as well, just like Boba. So there's 3.
No, I don't know. No, I wouldn't go that far. Don't go that far.
Okay.
I think if oh god, I had her name. I want to say it's like Corey, but it's not quite that.
We'll call her Ray.
No.
Ray.
This is gonna kill me, but something like Kyrie, Corey.
Kyrie.
Shit. I'm gonna go with Kyrie for now.
No,
If you want to look this up, feel free.
I'm looking it up. Give me a second.
But with her, we keep talking about this each episode, but I'm pretty sure that she is just a clone. Like, okay, the 2 biggest, most prevalent theories are, 1, she is just a female clone. You know, in a way, she is a Bad Batch, but like, where Omega is a female mutation of Boba, in a sense, where it's a purebred clone. Kyrie is, or not Kyrie, I don't remember her name. She is a, like, actual clone. Like Rex, you know? She is just like a female Rex in that regard. So she'd have the accelerated aging, which would make sense why she is so much older.
It's Emery. Emery.
Oh, I'm thinking Emery Carr.
Yeah,
That's
Emery
it.
Carr. Yep.
Okay, Emery
I wouldn't
Carr.
have remembered.
I knew it was something with a K. It's just her fucking last name.
Emery.
But Emery is like a clone in that regard. Otherwise, the other theory, and we talked about this maybe in the episode that we don't talk about, where Emery could just be like Jango's sister, like a younger sister of Jango. Not clone, not anything like that. And that's why Emery identifies herself as a sister, because, you know, since Omega is a clone, they are in a sense related. You know?
I don't have a weird feeling that Emery's gonna take out.
Emery needs to be way more important than she is right now.
I think she's gonna kill someone. She's gonna kill, well, what's his name?
Hemlock?
Yeah.
I don't see that. I don't. Emery's got like that slight, you know, sweet spot, but I see her being more like Nala Se. Like, I won't let them capture you, but I still want to do this. Because we've gone back and forth here on the podcast with where Emery lies.
Multiple
Emery,
times.
yeah. Emery, to me, she seems like she seems like another snobby scientist, honestly. Like, that's where I feel like we should be leaning as a character for her.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of things that stand out to me that don't make sense. Season 2 ended on such a high note, like, you know, like, we're supposed to give a damn that this is her sister. You know?
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be a character for next season. We've seen her in like 2 episodes. And I could care less about her.
Yeah.
I wish she was way more relevant in this season than she is.
Well, we still got 6 more episodes, so.
Still a little disappointing that that's the case. That it took this long into the final season to like, maybe give her any character.
She'll do
'Cause
something.
Otherwise, my other evidence comes from what character bits we do get of her. I'm talking specifically about 2 points. The first being, it's something you mentioned when we kept doing our channel break, or when we did the series breakdown. It was something you mentioned with Emery giving Omega the doll.
Oh,
he
yeah.
made in lockup. Like, that's not something that a snobby scientist would do. Snobby scientists wouldn't care. They want the experiment to go correctly.
They want that
Period.
data.
So, I mean, what you can
Data?
still play with, you know, something. Which you can still play with, you know, like maybe Emery knows that Omega won't help them if she's all sad and moody and whatever, so she just gives it to her so she mellows out a little. Like, maybe that's the angle. But otherwise, I want to say it's like the older sister in her. Like, she can see she's miserable. She can see that this is like life on repeat, and she doesn't care for it.
Yeah.
And she gives her that little piece of home back to her.
I think it's more like that, to be honest with you.
But then that's where the other point I'm talking about comes in. Where when Omega is revealed to be a perfect match for Project Necromancer, Emery doesn't waste a fucking second to give that information to Hemlock. In which you can argue that Emery gives them the data so Omega has to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you can argue that. You can be like, well, this is the definitive data we need that Omega can't be killed. Otherwise, once again, going back to the snobby scientist perspective, she just gave us the answer. We need her back. Not that she's alive. We need her for this. Like, she's so devoted to the objective that she is subjective to getting Omega back.
Yes.
Because otherwise, Emery could have simply just, like, pushed the sample off to the side, like Nala Say always did.
Yes.
And just been like, you don't need to know about this. I'm okay with this info. But Emery just gave it up. Like, why? Why? I don't know. I'm just not convinced either way with her. Because, like, you lean one way, but then there's this pulling you back. And you lean the other way, but there's this pulling you the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know what to do with her.
I don't know.
I don't even know if I'm convinced the showrunners know what to do with her.
I think they do.
I'd like to think they do, because, you know, kind of a big
So
plot
poignant.
hole for me at the moment. Yeah, well, that too, you know.
That's why I feel like she is gonna do something pretty big.
Oh my god.
6
Yeah.
episodes.
6 episodes.
6 episodes. She's gonna do something. She's gonna help Omega. She's gonna free the
And,
clones.
you know, that's a whole other thing. She could. She really could.
Yeah. Think about it.
Could be our... I mean, like, yeah, she can be our new Nala Say. Or, not Nala Say, who? Or, no, yeah, it was Nala Say in Season 1 who let the Bad Batch go.
Yeah.
Who disrupted the override to lock them in, letting them escape.
Exactly.
Which then...
Huh?
But that's where it kind of gets in the way. Nala Say is a legacy character. We know her from, you know, episode 2 of the actual, you know, Star Wars, you know, movies, you know?
Yeah.
The, like, true timeline of the Star Wars films. We know Nala Say. We have background to her, and what we once thought was, you know, the snobby scientist I'm talking about, or, you know, like just a scientist species, you know, just the Kaminoans in general. We get that, like, little bit of heart from her, and that keeps showing constantly, you know, up until recently. Where, like, Nala Say is still being overprotective of Omega. Like, we're actually seeing her evolve as kind of a mother figure for Omega.
Yeah.
Mind you, all of us as audience members were like, it's like a detached motherhood, but clearly Nala Say cares. Versus Emery, once again, we don't know jack about her. She's too new, I feel like, to care. Like, if she did something really nice, like, you know, I'm not really counting the doll. Personally, I'm not. But if she did something like that and let Omega leave, right now, I don't feel gratitude for that, you know? I'd just be like, okay, thanks. You know, yeah, I'd just be like, okay, thanks. And you know, of course they're gonna leave.
She does have pity for Omega, but yeah, like, I don't know if it's like, oh, well, I don't know.
It's just weird. It really is. I like the word. I like pity. Pity is a good example for her.
She's very pity. But the question is, why does she care, though? That's the big question. About
I don't
Omega.
know. I don't know. Again, snobby scientist, and she cares for the objective, or
But that's the thing,
older
though.
sister.
I can bring up.
Caring for a little
Remember,
sister.
she has like her little chores she has to do, or her little tasks, or whatever you want to call them. And she pretty much told Omega, because Omega was like, "I just don't feel great." She was like, "Okay, then yeah, just forget about it. Just go back to your room. Don't worry about it." I don't know. I think she is.
Okay, I won't lie. I don't remember that.
It's the part where pretty much Namaste.
I'm sure it's in that first episode.
Yeah, it's in that part with Namaste, and she's like, "You need to get out of here." Blah 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 blah. And she was like pretending to be sick, and she was like, "Okay, then yeah, just don't forget about all your tasks for today. Just go back to your room. I got you." Pretty much. I think. I feel like there is more than just her being a side chick. There has to be a little bit of a connection. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's pity or if it's a bond of some sort. I think she's still kind of having that. She's having the inner struggle with, am I doing this for science and like that, or like following Hemlock, or if it's Omega, like her. I guess her sisterly or feminine side, or I don't know how you want to describe it. There's something there. There's definitely something there. I just don't know. I feel like I would hope it gets some kind of resolution or some kind of thing where we could say, "Oh, this is how Emery feels about Omega," instead of being like, "Oh." I want some kind of resolution with that. I don't know if they're going to do anything with that.
There definitely needs to be closure.
Because there's something there. I can feel it. But I just don't know if it's big enough to do anything. Especially if there only be like 6 episodes, which we know Omega's going to get captured.
Yeah.
it just makes sense. She's like the whole foundation of this whole project. So she kind of has to be captured. It makes sense. But the question
that's the other thing. I don't know if I want that.
How so?
With her getting captured.
Well,
like
what would you suggest then? What happened then if she doesn't get captured?
I know the whole point is to capture her. But what I'm more scared of is they're so gung-ho at, trying to help the clones. Like, for the Empire, it's capture Omega, complete Project Necromancer. That's the objective.
Yeah.
For the Bad Batch, it's more like protect Omega, but help all the clones. And so, that's part of the point when we had the 2-episode premiere recently when Rex's base got destroyed. Like, they're plotting an assault on this base. They're going to this base. So, another thing I'm really curious on is this going to be Rex and the, are Rex and the Bad Batch going to invade the base, leave Omega behind, because it's kind of the smart play, and then Omega gets captured because Hemlock's that smart,
Yeah.
Like Hemlock knows better. Like, he knows Omega won't be part of the assault, and so he sends people after Omega while everyone else is attacking him. Or is it the opposite, in which Omega's like, they're my brothers too, and she goes with them on the mission, she gets captured. Like,
I guess that would
like, what I'm worried about is that they're going to play so far into it that if they don't do it right, it's just like what we're doing right now, where we're like, she's going to get captured. We don't want that. That's not going to be good, because we know she's going to capture it. It's going to be the how. The how has to sell it, I feel like.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Because it just makes sense for the whole plot, how important she is and everything. So she needs to. Yeah, I agree. It has to be something. The bad thing is, it seems like it's more. It's setting towards she's gonna get captured. And the thing is, we just don't know how it's gonna happen. If the Bad Batch are gonna be gone at the time, and she's just with Crosshair and Batcher, or maybe it is something where they go on a mission, and Hemlock does plan something and captures her while they were on a mission. Because I can see what you mean about that, but I feel like if they did that mission, like, let's just, because we know next, or this week technically, there's going to be 2 episodes.
Is it 2 episodes?
Yes, this week is the 2 episode one. So I could see that happening, but I feel like if they do that, I feel like it's just gonna, it's too soon. I feel like that should be the finale where they are invading, they're going after.
I'm not.
And stuff. Darth Maul, greetings from Peru.
Well,
Omega would see
again,
his brothers die, like Ventress saw her Night Sisters die on Dathomir. Oh, that's from Darth Maul.
Is that what someone said?
Yeah.
In the chat?
Yeah, Darth Maul. He says, greetings.
That's from Darth Maul. Thanks, Darth Maul.
Thanks, Darth Maul. You're one of my favorite Sith.
By the way, Darth Maul. Hey, shout out to your brother, Asajj. Me and him go way back. And also, if you missed it last week, we actually talked about Asajj. I honestly don't remember how and why, but we did.
Oh, we got another chat. We got another person. So it says, let's hope the Inquisitors appear at the Siege of Tantus like the Ninth Sister. How do you feel about that?
Siege? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh,
Tantus,
yeah, because the
that's where
Inquisitors.
the base is located, is it not?
I think it's on Tantus.
Which we've talked about that previously on the channels, or on the channel, with I brought up in, like, story lore, book lore versus like the cinematic lore, where the Inquisitors never really existed. They had people like Mara Jade, you can argue Starkiller in the games, but they never had like the Inquisitorius until Rebels introduction, setting up Obi-Wan, setting up the games, Jedi Survivor and all that. Like that's really when the Inquisitors shine, and it's something we've brought up where
that would be pretty cool though if they
about,
did.
I think either a week.
Bring it in, the Inquisitors at the end. Oh, yeah. Actually, that'd be interesting, huh? What if this is the beginning of the Inquisitors at the end of this?
Oh, we talked about that.
We did?
Like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. Yeah, because I brought up the whole point where we talked about how, is Project Necromancer going to succeed? We both thought no, it's not going to succeed because we don't want to see Omega go.
Yeah.
But we talked about how when Project Necromancer fails, the next thing you can set up is the Inquisitorius.
That's fair.
Like plot-wise, it'd be the Inquisitorius. Inquisitorius gets set up because, once Project Necromancer succeeds or fails to succeed, what do you do with all these M-count people? You put them in the service of the Empire.
Okay, yep. I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
So, and then we went from Inquisitorius to the Death Star, and from there, then it's the movies at that point.
Omega becomes an Inquisitor. That'd be amazing.
I don't see that. I love that idea. I would like to see something like the Inquisitors, and we talked about that, I think, also whenever we had that discussion. If we're going to see a force like, can you imagine if Vader? Can you imagine if our entire clone team dies to like a hallway scene against Vader? Like, that'd be so epic.
So what you're saying is you want Rogue One.
Like that. Well, that's very true, but no. I don't. I really don't. That's like setting them up for absolute slaughter, Because
technically, isn't Darth Vader technically the leader of the Inquisitors?
Vader.
pretty much. He's like, I thought he was kind of like
Yeah.
in control of the whole
At least as
project
far as I
thing.
understand.
If I
Yes,
remember.
because the Grand Inquisitor is underneath Vader.
Yes.
But and mind you, this is a project that I think it's kind of fleshed out more in Jedi Fallen Order. I don't believe Palpatine is very in on the know-how for the Inquisitors. I think the Inquisitors are more or less like completely up to Vader than they are up to Palpatine. Which, I don't know. I feel like that's something that hasn't necessarily been fleshed out. Or if it is, it's hidden in like lore and codex in
Yes.
maybe Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor. But no, it'd be really fun to see something like that. Personally, and this is something I thought about at work today, what do you do after Bad Batch? Because once Bad Batch is over, we've got nothing but live action series, and as much as I love the live action, I think the animation is what really holds a lot of people's hearts,
I'll agree with
I think
that.
that's what made Rebels so. I think that's what made Rebels so pleasing, is because when Clone Wars ended, that was the next animation.
Yeah.
We don't talk about we don't even talk about Star Wars Resistance, that series, which I haven't seen. I'm hoping it would be good. But I never actually got around to watching it, and I know the animation style is much more.
Ooh, I
2D.
love that. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Continue with your thought.
Well, what I was gonna say is I would hope that at the end of Bad Batch, we get a setup for another animated series. And Andre, this is where it's pulling at my heartstrings. I would love to see if the Bad Batch, finishing their mission here, somehow, in some way, would set up a Clone Commando series.
See, I would like that. Especially since
like an animated Clone Commando series.
Especially since they never finished the game, the Republic Commandos. I think that'd be so cool. At least get something like that. So,
and I know
To Cacharo says, do you think that in the end, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, do you think that in the end, Vader, Anakin, and Rex will cross paths?
Okay.
Thinking about that.
When you say in the end, are you talking about just for Bad Batch, or are you like going further? You think? I'm asking you, Andre.
Let's just.
Unless you see a response.
There's no response on that. We'll let you respond, but we'll just pretend that they're saying at the end of Bad Batch.
Okay.
Let's just pretend, and then we can do the other one.
I don't see that happening. I don't. And I say that with the knowledge I've got from stuff like Star Wars Rebels. In the story of Star Wars Rebels, we meet Ahsoka, then we meet Rex, and Ahsoka still has her doubts as to who Vader was, or who Vader is, I should say. If Rex would know that Vader's Anakin, if that's kind of what you're implying, then I'd like to think Rex would tell her. And, we would have even seen that in Star Wars Rebels. Where we are now in the story. I think maybe Rex could do something with Vader, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be this big badass moment like what we got in maybe the Kenobi series, where it's Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Which does not make sense to lore. Remind you guys, it does not.
Fair enough, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't think we're going to get that moment necessarily. I'd love to see something, however, where Hemlock's base is very dedicated to Project Necromancer. It would be really cool to see if there wasn't something suggested that maybe this is where Anakin went through a lot of his healing process to become Vader. And so if Rex would see something at the base that's like, General Skywalker, like put that together. That'd be really cool. That would be cool, just to see that whole connection. Because I don't know, that's a great point. I don't know if we ever get an official like. I don't know if Rex has ever had that moment in Star Wars.
I actually thinking about I was going to ask you. Do we think that? Do you think? I don't think Rex or any lore has said that Rex met Anakin Vader at all ever after the whole Execute Order 66 or anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I can't imagine he would, because we have the end of Clone Wars season 7 with like Ahsoka breaks Rex free of the whole the control chip. Like right away, right after Order 66. So I can't imagine he ever did anything with Vader or even knows it.
The way I could see it happening, if it does, let's just pretend it does happen. The best way I could see it happening is maybe, let's say Vader, the whole project fails, Inquisitors thing happen, we see Vader step in after Hemlock's like whole thing fails, and he's like, I'm taking over this project now, and he starts the Inquisitor project. The only way I could possibly see Anakin and Rex like crossing paths is maybe like when they're freeing the clones from Tantus, and maybe Vader shows up last minute, and Rex sees him, and like they see each other, but like nothing, like Rex is just like, oh my god, that's Anakin. That's the only way I could possibly see it happening at the end of Bad Batch, to be honest. I don't think there's going to be any like super huge big fight or something like that, because no offense, Rex would lose horribly. But yes. But in lore, I don't think they've ever met since before Execute Order 66, which they had the whole mission. If you've seen the animated, what was it called? That was the final season. The final season where you saw I gotta remember people's names. Ahsoka Tano, yeah, and Rex go on that last mission to get Maul from what was the planet called with the Mandalorian. It's that one planet. I don't remember the name of it.
Mandalore,
yeah. Well, no, was it Mandalore? I thought it was the Duchess's the Duchess's planet.
No, that's Mandalore.
Oh yeah, it is.
Where they're at is the capital city of Mandalore, Sindari.
Yeah. I keep forgetting, but yeah. So, before you start, Mama has a question.
Okay.
For you, is it more likely that Vader and the Inquisitors or Vader and Palpatine will come? Because there is a poster where two of them fight together. I don't remember what novel it was for.
Ooh. See, now you're getting into book lore, and I think both of us are really lacking in terms of book lore. Andre here is reading Heir to the Empire. I'm reading the Clone Commando books, because I absolutely love Clone Commandos. So if we're going off a Bad Batch perspective, I honestly don't think... Like, I think this is the perfect point where Palpatine and Vader are doing their own things. With the cinematic lore and story, I think Vader's focused on the Inquisitorius project, and this is the point where Palpatine's doing his own project with Necromancer. So, where, like, bringing Vader in, I think that'd be a great way for Palpatine to, like, send the dogs in, get everything back on track if Rex and the gang would actually disrupt Project Necromancer. But otherwise, I think it's up to Palpatine to kind of sort this out, or figure out a way to sort this out, because this is his project.
Yeah. The only reason I would see Vader personally getting involved is because Palpatine's like, it's failed, and then Vader's like, yeah, now I'm taking over.
Vader step in.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm taking over this, and we're gonna make Inquisitors and stuff. And
I think that's actually a good point, because if and when, because I do feel like Project Necromancer will fail to some degree, because obviously back in the sequel trilogy. I think when it does fail in this series, Vader should have all right to the full force of the Empire. You know, all the resources. Next, you know, like that's where it should have been.
How long did
But
it take Vader to kind of? Because I know, I've never read the novels, but I heard that when Anakin became Vader, he didn't like take that like first like step into becoming like the Vader we know from Episode 4 and 5. He kind of was in the back a bit because he was still kind of dealing with what happened to Padme and everything that happened, even though he murdered younglings and everything.
Oh yeah.
He did have to deal with it in some way, like physically or mentally, everything that happened. So I'm kind of wondering, this would probably be a good time for Vader to come forth in a way and show his power. But I don't know if that is technically too soon, because as I said, this is still taking place like near the very beginning of like when the Empire took over, and they're still working in pretty much getting everyone into their Imperial armor, the Republic, and it's just really interesting. But yeah, I could see more Vader coming in for the Inquisitors and stuff. Palpatine, I maybe could see him maybe showing up, but I don't see him really like fighting or anything. Yeah, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to be like, Vader, you're taking over this. Hemlock, you're dead to me. Maybe you'll kill Hemlock. I don't know.
See, that's something I was gonna bring up. That could be a really cool death for Hemlock. Be like, you failed me for the last time, and just like zap him to death. Or you actually see the palace guards do something and like impale him or something.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want to backtrack real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I got a question, maybe for the commenters, at least for you, Andre. This is going back to someone else's questions before, I believe, Big Mama's.
You mean the
unfortunately, I can't see.
Oh, I gotta tell you. So the question was to Kacharo, if I mispronounced that, sorry. But I believe do you think that in the end, Vader, Anakin, or Rex will cross paths? Was the other question.
Yes. Going back to that. And folks, I want to apologize myself, where I cannot see all the comments.
I need to find
on Andre's side
to do that.
I think I could probably bring it up on my end. I'd have to do it off my phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of doing too, to be honest.
So, okay, but going back to that question, does anyone know? Do we know an official timeline? Because obviously, beginning of the Empire, we have Anakin evil. Maybe if Rex did hear anything about it being Anakin, maybe he heard that it was Anakin who slaughtered all the younglings, who led the assault on the Jedi temple. So when Obi-Wan does this thing in Episode 3, dismembers him, and Palpatine brings him back, what's that timeline look like? When does Vader first appear? So, like I said before, where I said maybe Rex sees something, what if in the base in Tantus, he sees Anakin being fixed up and he's like, I'll come back for you, and never comes back? You know what I mean? What if they have to get off base? Maybe Rex has kind of spent some portion of his story always thinking he'd be able to go back and rescue Anakin in this tube. Like, where's this timeline? Is Vader formed yet, or is he not? So, like, my question to you, Andre, and question to the audience, do we know? What do you think?
I think
I have no idea where we are. I
think Vader is formed. I just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, because at the end of it would be the end of Episode 3. He gets put into his Vader armor, and we see him like pretty much standing there right next to Palpatine. So I would assume he's in his armor. It's just I do not know how much of a figure or his presence has been known to all the Imperial generals like Tarkin and everyone who knows Vader.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, I know there's quite a handful who would know him. Like Tarkin would obviously.
Well, know. Tarkin, yes.
You Lauren would know. You Lauren would be around by this point in time.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Andor series.
I still haven't
But,
seen it all.
Because the
to
other
watch
thing I'll
that.
bring up with the fact that you do see Anakin get into the Vader armor, at the end of Episode 3.
Yes.
But isn't that like right at the very end, or do they do the whole like Luke and Leia tease
Well,
with Padme's pregnancy?
they do,
Like,
and then you see them starting to work on shoot, what's the
On
project
Anakin?
name? Or not that, but they were. You could see that they started the construction of the Death Star, which is project.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the
Huh.
end, because
I'd have to look back at that.
if I remember
'Cause
correctly,
I
they're on the bridge. They're looking out at space. Palpatine and Vader, and Tarkin's there, and Tarkin's like pointing out into space, and you can see that there's the kind of the
Death Star.
biostructure of like the Death Star being built, and they do show
Okay.
Luke and Leia being taken to their
To their families.
to their new families now to be hidden, so Vader can't find them or Anakin, touche. But
Again, where and why I bring that up is just because, of course, we see that moment with Vader, being put together. The whole no, that whole. Thing.
yeah, then. But Padme at the
but
same
I'd like
time was also
to hear
having
some
her
time.
babies too.
But by the way, the movie suggests that's like at the same time. I'm saying like that could have been two
Yeah.
completely different periods in time.
It makes
Vader being made, that whole healing process. Of course, it's Star Wars. Stuff can go fast. Bacta does wonders. Take it from me, a Clone Commando lover. Bacta heals people.
back to tanks. Yeah.
Get yourself some Bacta Delta. What's it called? I'd love to think that it actually took just a bit of time for Anakin to like go from the charred broil on Mustafar to Vader. Like maybe a few months even. Like I cannot accept that they just took the body, put him on the table, and then immediately Vader was just made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I almost just can't fathom that. That's just kind of where my idea was going. Was hoping that like maybe it took like a year, and of course this has taken longer than a year in the Bad Batch series. But I don't know. I just want hope, man, because I really love that with Rex and Anakin. Maybe this can be that moment for them.
Yes. If you
But
want
go
to take
go ahead.
games into lore, which I'm not 100% sure if it is, there is the Vader Immortal 3-episode VR experience. It's on the Quest, and that does kind of go into Vader when he's on Mustafar, and you could see him grieving about Padme and still trying to find that way, like what he was trying to do when he was a Jedi before he turned, that he wanted to save Padme, to keep her from dying, in a way. So, yes, it's interesting. We don't know how long it takes before kind of Vader kind of gives up on that whole dream with Padme and everything. Because I'm pretty sure, like I said, definitely after what happened in Padme dying, it's just really horrible. It's like losing someone you really, really, really care about. So I don't know. It's interesting. But as I said, I just can't see him being like what you're saying, like jump right into service right after everything traumatic happened.
Right after.
So,
Yeah. Which I know Vader has his own story to build upon. I'd have to like touch up on it, but I know there's a lot of stories I used to follow, which I believe are from the Star Wars comics, in which like it's the one clone that
there's a book about
Vader
it, isn't there?
ever called friend.
Isn't there a book
Oh,
about
I'm sure
it?
there's plenty.
I'm gonna have to
There's
maybe read
comics,
that.
There's books, there's all sorts of stuff. Like this whole Vader Immortal, I'm pretty sure that's actually based off of a book, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I've heard that concept prior to the game coming out.
It might be. I have no idea. I did play the game though. Fuck, it was fun seeing Vader in the face and him trying to kill you.
Yeah. But no, in the comic I'm talking about, there's a clone that even Vader calls friend. Like that was a story I really loved. because it was a clone that was like the dual doll, served alongside Vader, even when like his entire battalion was now stormtroopers. Like he is still a clone serving with him. And I don't exactly remember all the details. It's been a very long time since I even seen a summary over that comic. But the clone, I remember, it kind of ended up like Crosshair in season 1, where it's like, screw it, bomb it, we don't care about him, bomb it. But the clone survives. And this one clone that called Vader friend, I know, was like a whole thing for Vader, where it's like, I can't believe we've done this. And I know there's even a point in the comic where Vader finds that clone after all these years. And I wish I knew how that ended. But what I'm trying to say, there's a lot of story for Vader that I know is locked in the books and the comics that honestly I, as a more cinematography fan of Star Wars, would love to see. I'd love for that to hit the big screen or hit the little screen, you know, be a TV series, be whatever. I'd love to see it.
I think it would be interesting, to be honest.
Plus, there's a lot of stuff with the books, and I know Filoni is a big like he's always proactive when it comes to community theories. I would really just like to think that anything that happens in the book or any of the books or any of the comics that isn't otherwise ruled out, I think is absolutely possible. So all this stuff about the last clone, you know, the clone that Vader called friend, I think it's totally doable. The whole thing about Vader immortal, like hunting for a way to save Padme, I think it's completely doable. Like, I think Star Killer is technically not possible anymore. And there's a lot of gray area when you try to bring in someone like Mara Jade into the movies. I don't think it's impossible yet, you know?
Well, the thing is with Mara Jade, you got to have Luke. That's the thing. You can't just have Mara Jade come in.
We don't get a lot of. We don't have a lot of Luke right now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Too. I would assume if they're gonna bring back Luke, they're gonna bring back whoever the guy was that played as younger Luke in was it The Mandalorian? Yeah, it was The Mandalorian. I think.
If they would do that, I have my qualms with that. And it's only because that was CGI. That was for a character for 2 episodes, you know? And even Disney, in its own right, acknowledges the fact that this is what we can do with CGI and de-aging stuff, and like, this is the extent of what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope if they go a movie route, or if they go like a full focal series on Luke, that they actually take a different approach. You know, nothing against Mark Hamill, and I believe even Mark Hamill's actually, like a game for this. You know, he wants to see what someone else can do.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they do better, maybe they do worse, and I think Mark Hamill's the guy, the actor, the voice actor, that if there's anything he can do to help someone, he's going to. You know,
yeah.
He's gonna help them be a better Luke, or, you know, fit the character, like this is us kind of moment.
Yes, please
and
fit
I still
the
love
Luke
the
character.
fantastic theory of, yeah, like I still love the idea of Sebastian Stan being Luke. This is an old fan casting back when Mandalorian was much more relevant. Not that it's not, but you know, like when season 2 was just ending, and when season 3 was on the horizon, I remember seeing Sebastian Stan everywhere. Like, you should be Luke Skywalker. You should be the young Luke. They should do this. They should do that. And I still think he's a phenomenal choice for that character, you know, to fill those shoes. So it's really fun.
I asked the question in chat. I said, what do you guys think is going to happen to Omega? So to Mama, she says that she's going to be an orphan. But crying face. But Ventress will adopt her as her new apprentice because I don't think they will kill Omega or make her an Inquisitor. The two have to make a new series.
Okay.
I guess
So far, I'm really on board with that. I
That'd be
think
pretty
that's actually a really great idea. I love that.
I think that would be
Any
pretty
other
cool.
responses so far?
No, not yet. That's the only one. But yeah, I think that'd be interesting, actually, to be honest. To have her survive.
See, to Mama, I'm gonna wager you. Mind you, I don't know if you've watched ones. Another theory I have suggested, because this is something I suggested back with the end of season 1 of Bad Batch and Book of Boba Fett. I have a buddy who me and him speculate all the time about Star Wars with. And when Book of Boba Fett was ending, I was really hoping Book of Boba Fett season 1 would end with Omega showing up on Tatooine. Right? Isn't it Tatooine? I think it's Tatooine.
Yeah.
I don't even remember now. I feel bad. But showing up at Jabba's palace and confronting Boba Fett. So it's like the sister has just entered the game. She knows Fennec. She has history with Fennec. Obviously, she has relation to Boba. And I think she is like the character that can save the Book of Boba Fett series. And I think it'd be great to note, I think Omega's more of a badass than Boba Fett. Because as a movie and TV guy, I don't know all the stuff that that Boba has done. And I think the most I've ever been hyped for him was that one episode in Mandalorian season 2. Like, that was the greatest moment I've ever had Boba Fett personally. And I didn't carry that through the series. So if she showed up, to me, she's the bigger badass in that series. And with your idea, with the whole Asajj possibly adopting her, I love it because Asajj also has history with Boba, and we talked about this last week with that one episode in Clone Wars where Asajj tied Boba up and gave him away like the cargo they've been escorting.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be another really fun dynamic, another great live action for Asajj as a character. It'd be really cool. I love it.
I can see it definitely happening, to be honest. I think that would be really cool. Especially with Omega, I kind of feel like it sucked just to kind of cut off her story when she could probably do a lot more and maybe see her in a live action for the, Dave Filoni movie that's supposed to be coming out. It's supposed to branch all these live action / animated movies together for the Heir to the Empire thing, which is a possibility as well. But who would play Omega, though?
That is exactly what I'm looking up, because I know exactly who I want. I've had a number of fan casts, but depending on how old you go with Omega.
Omega.
That's the downside, because if we're going like Book of Boba Fett age, how old do you reckon Boba is in that? How old do you think Tamora Morrison is in Book of Boba Fett? Not like canonically, folks. I'm talking like how old is Tamora Morrison for that? What does he act? So I think they de-aged him a little, maybe.
I have
Sorry,
no
Tamora.
idea.
you ever seen this? Sorry, I don't mean to call you old, man.
Calling people old? Damn. Next, you're gonna say that I'm old.
No, don't cancel. Well, you are compared to me.
Oh, that's fair. That's
so, I found who I want. Any fan of The 100, a CW drama series, sci-fi drama series, I would actually like to see Eliza Taylor. Eliza Taylor played Clark Griffin in The 100. If I'm not mistaken, she is Australian, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm actually pretty ignorant with accents. Like, I'm not familiar with association of what accents where. But I'm pretty sure Omega's accent is Australian. And so I could see that working. The only thing is, Eliza Taylor however old she is. I don't think she's nearly as old as Tamora Morrison. And mind you, they don't have to be the same age. There's nothing saying that they were born at the same time. But I would imagine it's probably no more than maybe a 5-year. Actually, it can't be a 5-year difference. The Clone Wars wasn't even that.
Yeah.
How old do you think Boba was in Episode 2, Andre?
Boba?
How old do you think he was? Because that was our 10-year thing. What we talked about. The clones would have been 10 years old at that point. So do you think Boba was 10 years old? Because that was Jango's payment, right?
Yeah. That would make sense if he was 10.
Okay. So if they made Omega 5 years later after Jango's out of the picture, you know? Or no, Jango would still be in the picture because, of course, 10 years later, that's when confronts him. So
then, when was Omega created then?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, what might their age difference be? It can't be too crazy. It's got to be within 10 years of each other.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Omega looks like she's literally like. She looks like Boba. Like,
I mean,
from 2,
does.
so she looks like she's 10 years old. So let's just assume she's 10. So that would mean she must have been created probably a little later than Boba.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm going off of. But when you're saying she looks 10, are you saying 10 at the beginning of Bad Batch?
Yeah. Like when we first meet her, 10. She's probably, I would say, definitely probably a couple years older now, but...
If you're going like that, then I would say maybe 2 years younger, like almost immediately after creation. Because, you know, Clone Wars really isn't that long of a time period.
It really isn't before everything.
What, 2 years? 2.5 years?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But the question is, why did they create her?
So, yeah. Why not?
Well, the thing is, Boba was created for a purpose for Jango, so why would they create Omega?
Simple. She is a scientific means to an end. Because if Jango ever went AWOL, they had their own copy.
Okay, I guess that is true. Okay, I got
another chat. You,
Puma, in the trailer, a giant ship appears approaching Coruscant. For me, it is the Zilla Beast with clones that emerge victorious in Tantus, or another group that went to stop the Emperor with this creature. That would be kind of interesting.
Ooh. Yeah, now I kind of want to check out that trailer. Hold on. I'm actually going to bring it up. Because that's a great point. A part of me's scared to look up more trailer footage.
Is that for, I'm guessing that's for the Bad Batch, right?
Yeah. No, that would make sense in the trailer. I mean, I can't imagine what other trailer you're talking about.
So,
I really want to see this now. I think that's a great point.
And to let everyone know, if you guys do not know in chat, that the episode that comes out this week, guys, there's 2 episodes. It's a 2-parter. If you guys did not know that. So,
I'm so excited for that.
So it's going to be interesting.
And we can go into titles probably after.
Yeah, we can go to that near the end. Just to give you guys, if you guys would like to know, just kind of give you guys something. We don't know what's going to happen in the episode. All we know is just the titles, what IMB has kind of shown us. It has all the titles, whereas I think most of the titles. Yeah, it has all the titles for each episode, and it tells you when they're supposed to air. But they don't have anything about the plot or anything, which is good, because we don't want to spoil it, to be honest.
I'm ruining myself right now.
You watched that. I didn't know that, actually, Puma. Thank you for sharing that. That's interesting. So it's going to be an interesting 2 episodes.
Wait, what was said? I don't...
No, the trailer. Well, you said it in the trailer. A giant ship.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, Puma.
Yeah.
Sorry, in my mind, I thought you were talking about Mama, and I was like, what did Mama say?
Mama hasn't said nothing yet, or at least ever since the
Yeah.
last thing. But that'd be interesting. Appears Coruscant. For me, it is the Zilla Beast with clones that emerged victorious in Tantus, or another group that went to stop the Emperor with this creature. That'd be kind of interesting to see them actually utilize the creatures. To be honest, especially since they're kind of.
It would be.
Because they really aren't. I guess they are kind of. Because the Zillo Beasts aren't those the damn it, I can't remember what they are. Zillo Beasts.
Wait. Excuse me. Wait. I shouldn't have watched this. Oh God.
Zillo. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry. You again. I'm sorry. I'm in two spots here.
I'm looking up what the Zillo Beast looks like, so now I know what it looks like. Okay. That'd be interesting.
We saw the Zilla Beast last season.
Yes, we did.
We saw Zilla Beast last season, Andre. Yeah.
I just didn't remember what it looked like.
By the
so
way,
it's like, that's interesting.
Okay.
Huh.
So there's a lot of things there that probably ruined me. Looking at that trailer.
A bit more.
It was great though. But Andre, going back, yes, the Zilla Beast. We had that in Clone Wars, Empire 4, and then we had the Zilla Beast return after I believe like 7 years, if not longer, something like that. Like it was crazy. Maybe it was 17. Honestly. It was something. It was something wild. Because folks, maybe you know I've mentioned them before here on the channel. Blind Wave, absolutely. Guys, say reaction content, folks.
I love that name.
Blind Wave, Aaron Elliott on the channel. He had this whole thing where it's like the Zilla Beast returns, and it was one of my favorite moments from them, with the last year. So, yeah, no, I'm super stoked for the Zilla Beast if that is the case. But a shout out to Puma for mentioning that in the trailer. I think I see the moment you're talking about here in the trailer. It's at the timestamp of like 23 seconds. You see like a big, almost a carrier class, not carrier class, more like a cargo class cruiser flying towards a space station, what looks to be above Coruscant. Oh, that's even more interesting. That looks like an Imperial, like orbit station. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's. Personally, I'm thinking that's more like Rex and team going there. To answer that, Andre, what were you oohing on? I know we're both kind of in different spots right now, folks.
Got another comment from Solo Say K Nada Say. I love that. It's a great name. I like it. It rolls off the tongue. I thought the same thing too because a ship is heading to Coruscant. The Beast Zillo versus Palpatine would be epic. It would be like Godzilla versus Sidious. Fantastic. I like that. I like your name. Very great name. I love it.
That would be very fun.
So there's a Zillo Beast. Interesting. That's very interesting.
Okay.
Did we kind of see it teased? Did we see a Zillo Beast at all, or like a teasing of like what was the creature in the
Where?
In the cage from the season when Crosshair and Omega escaped?
Oh no, that wasn't. No,
that was something else.
That was a Raftar.
Raftar. Okay,
that's the thing in episode 9, or not 9, episode 7, when Han and Chewie meet up.
Oh yeah.
Rey and Poe.
Yeah.
And it's a giant tentacle thing. Yeah, that's a Raftar.
A Zillo Beast.
Because you also had Poggles in that episode. The little floppy birds.
Yes.
Things. Yeah. It was really fun. You know, that's a great shout out to the trilogy for what it is.
Zillo Beast.
But
why would there be a Zillo Beast?
I don't know. I don't see.
That's interesting.
Yeah, see, I don't see anything about a Zillo Beast maybe in this trailer. I see the ship they're talking about. Again, it's like a cargo. It's a big cruiser. No, okay, I shouldn't be calling it a cruiser. It's like a freight ship. You know, now
Freight
that I
train.
see freight, maybe it's the Martell sisters. I don't remember what their ship looks like, but they had a freighter. They had a freight class ship. I wonder if that could be their ship going to Coruscant, which would make sense. I mean, they live on.
That would make sense.
So, hey, shout out to you guys. Maybe kind of crack that open. But you see them heading towards like an Imperial orbit station in the trailer, and you have Rex and Hunter talking, which honestly, that could be any point in the series. I don't think we've seen that yet. So, who knows?
Maybe they're going to that station probably to find... I'm assuming they're going there to probably find out more about where Tantus is to get the clones. That would make sense.
See, that's what I would think. Because why else would you go to Coruscant of all places?
Especially like Empire capital, practically.
Yeah, exactly.
Super
it's
dangerous.
the galactic capital. Okay, so I want to bring up two other things in this trailer that I noticed and why I said you guys are ruining me. So
Yes.
the first one, okay. Now that I'm seeing this, there's actually 2 points in the trailer that this happens. And so I think this is actually our two-part, unless we have another two-parter later.
I don't
Which,
think
mind
so.
you, I could have seen things in the finale. Maybe is it episode 14 and 15? Are they two?
Mm-mm.
Do you mind?
This is the
checking
only.
that out? They're
This is
not?
only the only two-parter is
Okay,
this week. So
So, folks, bear with me here. But Andre, you of course are familiar with Mandalorian, correct?
see, I've watched all. Of
Okay.
it, even
You
the bad
remember
season.
the? You remember? Yeah.
Jack
remember
Black!
The transport. You remember the transport trucks that Mando and Bill Burr? I can't remember his name, but Mando and Bill Burr are driving, and they're like pretending to be Imperial officers, and Mando has to get on the roof and start fighting a bunch of like pug species dudes.
Yes.
When they're trying to like throw a grenade into the tank. Do you know what I'm talking about? That ship? I think
Yeah,
it's called
yeah.
like a Rhino.
Something like that, I think.
It's something. Yeah, it's got some kind of name like that. In the beginning of the trailer, you see a moment where they're driving that along a cliffside, and like they're getting shot off, and they have to get off the Rhino, and you do see like Crosshair because you see the black and red armor, Hunter and Wrecker on this mission.
Oh yeah.
And like the trailer shot ends with Wrecker making a jump from the ship, or from the Rhino to the ship, But then later in the trailer, you see them like riding or like driving this thing across a bridge, firing a barrage of missiles. And like I'd love to think that maybe that's the assault. Maybe this two-part episode we're getting is the Bad Batch going on the offensive. Actually,
Maybe actually that would actually make more sense.
because that doesn't. Which we can go over the title later. That's something I'm now really curious by.
Oh, yes.
And then the other thing I saw is a cameo. I'm gonna warn everyone here, every audience member, Andre, maybe even yourself.
Oh no.
But there is a cameo in the trailer that's not Asajj, that's not Fennec. It's a new face we haven't seen this season. And,
Obi-Wan.
No, like Andre, do you want me to say, or do you want me to keep you
Let's ask chat.
clear?
What do you think?
You know what? Yeah, chat, vote. Do you want me to say who you see in the trailer? Because obviously, if you know the trailer, you know who I'm talking about. But if you don't remember the trailer, I don't want to say it, because that could be really hype. See. And we'll give that a few minutes to kind of set and settle. But yeah, other than that.
Oh man, that's exciting.
But yeah.
Two episodes, man.
What on?
Well, it's interesting
Oh, yeah,
because
dude.
like now with that trailer, it makes me feel like what we were thinking is going to
Uh-huh.
happen probably isn't going to happen. It's going to be probably them on
It's
that
not going
mission.
to be the destruction of Pabu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be them
I-
being on a mission and stuff, and probably something's going to happen while.
Uh-huh.
I still think Omega's probably going to get captured or something. Something's going to happen.
I feel like it's... See, what worries me is you said the last episode is by itself,
Yes.
and I don't know why, but that worries me. I'm like, oh god, why is it by itself? Why are they doing that?
Cliffhanger.
Especially because it's the finale, you know, like I want...
I don't know, man. It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah. I'm gonna get off this trailer before it really ruins me.
Please don't ruin it for me.
Oh, okay. So you don't want me to say?
If you
Is that
tell
what-
me,
is that what chat-
I don't mind.
Oh, then-
But no one said anything.
Yeah,
So
well,
we'll give it a couple more minutes and see. No one says anything, then we will just do it because I don't mind. Ooh, it stopped raining.
I mean,
Awesome. It's raining outside.
yeah. Well, again, we'll hold off on it just in case. But
Well, while we're doing that, I might as well just say what the pretty much the two. So as I said before, guys, there's going to be 2 episodes, the 2-parter, this Wednesday coming up for Bad Batch. It's going to be episode 10, episode 11. Episode 10's title is Identity Crisis.
oh yeah.
And then episode 11 will be The Point of No Return.
Oh, see, you said Identity Crisis.
Identity Crisis. Yeah, that's the name of the title. That's the name of the
Ooh.
episode. So it's interesting.
Okay, here's the thing: the 2 on their own sound really interesting. The 2 being a 2-part release,
It's more
I
interesting.
don't know what I don't know what to think, because the only people I can think of going through an identity crisis, one, Crosshair. I think Crosshair is still kind of coming to terms with the choices he's made, and you know we talked about how in the show they talked about how Crosshair's problem might be more mental than physical,
Yes.
like psychological. So, you know, he could still be recovering from being who he was in the Empire to being their brother. On another note, we talked about, I know you and I kind of missed it, but that doesn't rule it out, obviously. Omega.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Knowing
Omega would be
she's-
the other one.
No, knowing she's force sensitive could kind of really compel her. Because you talked about, like, you know, she'd have to practice. I can see Omega, like, she is a powerful enough character. And what we know about her is I feel like if she knows she could do it, she's going to keep trying until she can. And that's another thing I absolutely love about what they've kind of done with her as a character.
I think it's gonna be
Because
interesting.
you can tell that from the character.
Yeah.
And then the last person I think in this kind of arc is Ventress. Because Ventress has had a very clouded past and present and how everything's going. We don't even know her. That's why I say past and present, you know? Like, we are in the moment. And that's one of the things I think Bad Batch carries so greatly on, is we do not know anything about these characters, you know, other than Fennec, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know. We don't know what happens to these guys. Do they live? Do they die? Could they be continued in another story? That is, I think, what makes this series way better than other shows. For instance, something like Andor. Andor was great.
But we
for
kind of
what
know
was.
what's gonna happen to the character.
We,
or the
we,
main
we know what's
character.
going to happen to Andor, but there's other characters that we grow and love and try to get to know. Like, I see his face. I can't think of who he is.
I gotta
his
still
name
watch
escaped
that series.
Every what?
I haven't seen it. Well, I started watching it, but I haven't
Okay.
watched all of it.
Chat. You might be holding out on whether or not we save this cameo, but you should absolutely tell this man to watch that series, because there's one way out. Andre, there's one way out, and I want you to watch that. I'm not gonna go any further on that.
One Way Out. That episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to watch it.
No, don't no. You have to watch it before that. You can't just start on One Way Out. That's terrible.
Ah, come on. Okay, well, yeah, I need to rewatch it. Maybe I'll start watching them tomorrow.
Andre, if you're gonna do that, stop at One Way Out.
Okay.
Okay? Like, watch it up till then, and stop on One Way Out. Because that's personally, like, the last amazing moment. Like, the end of the finale, like, the season finale was alright. But that's
what?
cheesy stuff. That's cheesy stuff to me. I don't
Cheesy?
like that kind of stuff.
Well, how cheesy are we talking?
It's too lighthearted for my taste.
Too lighthearted. Okay.
That's what I mean. Versus everything that happens up to One Way Out, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Okay.
Um,
I'll have to rewatch it all, because I said, I got through... I don't know how many episodes I got through. I got through I think I got through a good portion of the series before I kind of just stopped watching it.
Okay. Well, anyway, otherwise, I do still encourage you to watch the whole thing.
Everyone says it's like one of the better live-action series.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I'll have to definitely watch it.
For starters, it's like, what, 12 episodes? Maybe more?
I think so, I'm not sure.
Like, I cannot wait till, like, something like and I'm jumping to Marvel here real quick. But, like, when the new Daredevil series comes out, as crappy as it might be because of all the different rewrites they've done for the characters, I'm excited for it because it's going to introduce a 24-episode season of hour-long episodes, like the old Netflix series did for Daredevil. You know? Like, I'm excited for anticipation like that. The show I mentioned before, CW, that was a drama series, and that's about 24 episodes a season. That's stuff that really gripped me.
Oh, really?
I can't wait till we get back to that. Yeah, because otherwise Marvel and other series, like even Star Wars, from Disney, I should say, they're just doing like these 6 to 8 episode seasons. They don't carry as much weight as you want them to.
Okay. So I looked up, but Andor,
anyway,
it is 12 episodes. The episode I got halfway through the series, because I got to the episode 6, which is the Eye, which is when they were watching that local festival. I remember they were pretending to be Imperials. So I didn't get. I watched. So I got a pretty good portion through it, but I'll probably rewatch it just to kind of remind myself what happens and everything.
The stuff I'm talking about, I think that's maybe another 3 episodes or so.
Yeah, the One Way Out is episode 10.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's what I would say watch too, because I mean at that point you might as well finish the show.
I might as well at that point.
Right. I thought it was a lot closer, but I think that just goes to show, like, that feels like the end of the first half of the season, and that's towards the end of the series, so it held me through 10 episodes.
That's not bad.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Versus the last 2 episodes, kind of meh. But I love up to episode 10. Easy.
Let me guess, they're filler episodes. The last 2.
I wouldn't say that. I would say they're more political.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anything.
Okay.
And in politics, I mean, as great as they are, that's just not my peak of interest. I like action. I like doing something. Mind you, episode 12 does have a lot of action, but I feel like it's also very political.
Very political. Okay.
Mind you, Star Wars politics people. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to do politics.
I gotta read more Star Wars books now. I think there is one Star Wars book I want to read, which is like I think it's the Rise of Vader. I don't remember what it was called. Let me look it up. There was one Vader.
See, I know the more we keep
book.
doing this, I want to do the.
Oh, Darth
back to
Lord,
Clone
The Rise
Commandos.
of Darth Vader. I think that might be the book.
Makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So, by this book, if you guys are wondering, it's Star Wars Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader. Pretty much, everyone believes that pretty much Anakin just died during the siege on Coruscant at the Jedi Temple. But, of course, as you guys would know, Episode 3, he was part of the siege. He led the siege. And he is alive. But this one kind of goes into pretty much kind of what he did after, it looks like. After Episode 3. About him. Sounds like he's gonna start pretty much chasing down Jedi that survived the massacre, Order 66. I don't know, man. And like I was saying, it also talks about him dealing with Padme's death and the twins, his daughter and son. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I might read
Andre,
that. Yes.
with our last few minutes potentially, because it is almost 7 o'clock for us.
Holy moly, it is.
We're almost at. Yeah,
We're at an hour and
2 hour
40. Yes, I think this is where we're gonna end it, guys. I think it's.
Wait. I at least wanted to bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back.
To bring it back. We talked about the identity crisis. What was the name of the other episode there?
The other episode was shoot. Hang on, let me look it up again. Give me a second. Give me 5 seconds. I'm pretty sure it was like
Because I already.
it was like a point.
Oh,
it's the point of no return.
Beginning of the end or something. Point of no return.
Yeah.
That. What do you think will happen there? What do you think
If
their
I
point
would
of no
predict
return is gonna be?
what's gonna happen is, I hope they don't do that because I think that'd just be really repetitive.
What?
The point of no return.
You think it's Omega getting captured?
How did you know? No. I would say that, but maybe it's. I could see it also maybe being a part where actually someone dies. If we want to go down that loop. Maybe one of the Bad Batch dies. Because point of no return makes me think of, oh shoot, there's no going back. Or maybe Omega does get captured and she's just stuck. She gets captured again. Or maybe she goes willingly to Tantus and she's like, I can't turn back. I've got to do this. Maybe she finds out who she is. She finds out like literally what she wants to do, what she needs to do. Yeah. So she's like I'm going to Tantus, and she does it without the Bad Batch.
Ah, okay. I mean, that's an interesting shout out.
It's interesting, but the thing is, I just don't know the reason why she would do that.
Yeah.
That's the big issue. Maybe they learned something in the next episode, the first episode, and she's like, "Oh fuck, I have to do this by myself."
Yeah.
Which I don't know why she would.
See, I think that'd be a really interesting. You know, we talked about that. That feels like it's gonna happen, but we need to know, like, the how has to
make sense
to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that could be a really compelling way. You know, like if something does happen, that's the how. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe she does it so Pabu doesn't get destroyed. You know, she pulls an Ezra from Rebels. But you know, so Lothal doesn't get bombarded.
The only thing, like, that's what I was thinking, but I would hate that because then it's just a repeat of what she did at the end of season 3 or season 2. I mean, because she literally gave herself willingly to make sure the Bad
Very
Batch didn't get attacked. And I'm like, please don't do that
Very
again.
true.
Come on,
Very
Omega,
true.
you've grown. You've been stuck in that
And,
Tantus lab for a while.
And otherwise, I want to go back to the beginning of the stream where I talked about that Peck died at the beginning of that second episode for the show.
Yeah.
Mind you, that was also a 2-part release finale.
And this one isn't.
But someone died at the beginning of that second episode, so the point of no return could quite literally be the team will never be the same, because someone does die, which could be really fun. But
really fun. Someone does.
right.
Tension's
But
growing.
otherwise, if we do go off like what the trailer suggests, this could be them going on the offensive. Because otherwise, I think point of no return, we've already talked about a lot here, the destruction of Pabu. There's literally no home. There's no place for them to go now. There's no returning home. Which will be the second time their home, actually third time if you count Sid's bar getting destroyed.
Sid's, Camino.
Nah, fuck Sid.
Oh,
Sid.
come on. Sid's not that bad.
We don't like Sid.
Sid was doing what she thought was good at the time. Okay.
For herself.
For herself, yes. I never said it was
Exactly.
good for everyone else, but it was good for her at the time.
We ain't doing that. We ain't going back to that. We're putting that aside.
I wonder what Sid's up to now.
Right. You know what? Screw Sid.
Sid
That would be a really fun, meeting them again in the series, or even later. Maybe that project that they do, and we see Sid. Just like Vizago. It'd be really fun if we saw Vizago, Rebels, but of course that's much later too.
Yeah.
In the storyline. But no. Point of no return. I'm thinking just Pabu. I'm thinking, someone dies.
Yeah.
The obvious. Omega gets captured.
The question is who?
Who dies?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think Wrecker personally needs to go next.